You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
All right, here we are back at it. Another beautiful Monday, although a little chilly here in Utah. I think we touched on 100 degrees last week, and then we had a little cold front roll in, and it was like 43 degrees this morning. A little chilly. Not used to that. Welcome to Mindset Monday, brought to you by Contractor Plus. I am your host, Garrett Bake, with the American Contractor Network. You guys know the drill. Put your name, your business name, and where you're from in the comments so we can give you a nice little shout out. We got a couple folks. Ground Fog decided to beat everyone to the punch today. Got the little hand wave. We got Deanna. I think it's Deanna. Another little hand wave. Daniel showed up. All right, mobile office. There he is. Welcome to the show. Now, it's a really interesting thing when you start looking at your business from a different perspective. Last night, I was having a conversation with a gentleman who owns, let's just call it a tech company. And what their tech company does, kind of cool. They scan letters and images and stuff and then run them against a database to see if it's something that should be allowed into the prisons or not. Kind of crazy, right? Because in the prisons, yes, they got emails and whatnot, but most of the communication that happens is through letters. And so they've created this technology that everything that comes in gets scanned, and then they run it against databases to make sure, it's not anything, illegal that or communication that shouldn't be happening, if you will. But it was really interesting to hear him talk about this really cool technology. But then I asked him, I was like, hey, you guys got one contract. He's like, yeah, we got one contract. I'm like, that's great. I was like, what about the rest of them? He's like, what do you mean the rest of them? I was like, the rest of the contracts. He's like, I don't know. I was like, exactly. And so we started down this rabbit hole of initially talking about marketing, which we do quite a bit here, and then talking about the business as a whole and saying, hey, look, you have to think ahead. Otherwise, you're going to wear yourself into the ground, right? And some of you guys are experiencing this right now. Some of you have experienced it in the past. But I want you to understand that your business is not meant to slow you down. It's not meant to enslave you. It's not meant to keep you from what it is that you ultimately want. Your business is designed to do one thing and one thing only, if done right. Your business is meant to give you the freedom to live the lifestyle you want to live. That's what your business is meant to do. We give you a couple little shout outs here. We got David Roth with DR Home Services out of Jersey. Welcome to the show. And Deanna, I apologize if I'm blistering your name. Shine Bright Dusters LLC. She says, hey, from OHI, Ohio. That's where Justin likes to hang out. I don't think I've ever been to Ohio. I don't know. Justin never invited me, so maybe one day he will. Okay, so
wait a minute. That's not true. We're supposed
true.
to go to the Michigan game last year.
That's true. Maybe we'll go this year. I like it. So if the purpose of your business is to create freedom and allow you to live the certain lifestyle that you want to live, the question is, what's going to make you or allow you to live that lifestyle, right? Now, I've worked with, I think we can now say close to 1,000 contractors over the years, right? And I can tell you that there's some commonalities around contractors. There are contractors that want to stay small. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You want to stay, it's you and maybe somebody else, and you work. And when you want to take time off, you take time off. Now, this is not a judgment on you if that's you, but from my perspective, that's a job. Like you basically have a job, right? You get paid when you work, you don't get paid when you don't. The majority of contractors got into business not because they wanted to exchange, as we say, time for money. They got into contracting because they wanted to create a business, right, that allowed them to play golf, fish, go on vacation, whatever the thing is, and still make money, right? That's the game. So how does that happen? I'll tell you that next week we're leaving Thursday and we're not coming back till the following Sunday. So we're going to be out of town for 10 days. 10 days. Now, how is it that my business can continue to run for 10 days while I'm traveling? I'm on vacation. We're doing a little road trip. Going to go down to New Orleans, check things out, and then visit my son and his wife. They're both in the Navy in Norfolk, right? But what allows for that to happen? It's because I have a team in place, right? I have a team that can execute on what we need to execute on while I'm gone, period. If I didn't have that, it wouldn't happen. Okay. So I want you guys to understand this. Having people on your team is not because you want to have somebody to talk to because you're bored on the job site. It's not because you want to go double up on work when they screw something up so you can do it. The reason you have a team is it allows you to live the freedom that you want to live, right? I know people that literally, we're going to go do a site visit with one of our clients. He runs a 16, I think it's $16 million a year exterior company. And we're taking all of our local clients here in Salt Lake, and we're going to go basically do a field trip tomorrow. And I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about this because I get to show everyone what a real business should look like, right? This gentleman, his name is Tim. He's one of the mentors in our group. I think that's a more accurate description of him. But Tim has run this business for almost 20 years. And I was texting him this morning. He was down on Lake Powell. For those of you that don't know what Lake Powell is, look it up, right? He just spent a week on Lake Powell. 2 weeks ago, he was on a 1-week Alaskan cruise celebrating his son's graduation from high school. How is it that he's able to run an 8-figure business and not be in the office? It is 100% because of TEIM. Team. Okay. So that's what we're after. If you guys just joined us, go ahead and drop your name and your business name in the chat, and we'll give you a nice little shout out. So the question then becomes, how do we create a team that doesn't require babysitting? I've got 3 kids, and I remember when they were young. I would have loved back then more than anything to be able to be like, hey, you guys are on your own. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go shower. I'm going to go do something. No, you can't. They're kids. You got to babysit them, right? And it's a bad thing because they're your kids, right? But if you're still dealing with your employees like that, there's a problem. There's a problem if your employees require babysitting. What's the purpose of having them then? Right? What do I do with my team every Monday? Every Monday we have a one-on-one and a team meeting, right? So we get together as a team. We talk about what's happening this week, what role everybody's playing to making it happen, and then we break. And then I have one-on-one meetings just to make sure everybody on the team is clear. What are we doing this week? How are we getting it done? What do I need to help you with? Either myself or assistance that I need to provide to help you make that happen. And then we check in periodically during the week. But I'm not looking over their shoulder being like, are you doing that thing that you said you're going to do? Oh, you're doing it wrong. No, that's babysitting. And nobody wants babysitting, right? You're probably asking yourself right now, well, how do we do that? I agree with you. Yeah. Okay. Keep saying it. Yep. Not in the head. How do we do that? Well, we're going to walk through this real quick. Okay. And I'm going to give you the exact same framework that I give every single one of our clients. And I'll tell you in full transparency, some of them deploy it and some of them don't. But the ones that do and do it the right way, and I'll give you a couple of examples, the freedom starts to present itself, right? Now, before we get started, we got Rodney. A little shout out for R&R Lawn Service. Welcome to the show. How do we build a high-performing team? How do we build a team that doesn't require babysitting? Well, the first thing that you need to understand is if you don't have a company culture, this will never work. It will never work. Hold on. I don't know if I repeated that yet. It will never work. Okay. No culture, no good team. I've seen it over and over and over again. If you've got your cousin Vinny and your nephew Bobby, and they're working with you and you want to make them responsible and accountable, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You don't have a culture. What you have is a family run business. Those don't work, in case you're wondering. Okay. So what is it that you need to do? Number one is culture. What is culture? Okay. Culture is nothing more than an extension or a representation of you and what you value inside of your business, right? So for example, you've heard people talk about culture and they're like honesty and integrity and hard work. Great. But if that's not something that means something to you, then it doesn't matter, right? Your culture is going to do two things. It's either going to attract the right people or it's going to repel or get rid of the wrong people. Let me give you I'm going to give you two examples. The first example is our culture, right? Our core values, if you will. So there's 4 core values that we have. Number 1 is have fun. If you've been around me long enough, you know that I love to joke and have a great time, right? I don't want people who are so serious that they don't understand when I'm joking with them. Like, that's horrible. No, go away. We're going to have a fun environment. Okay. But number 2 is do the work. There's always work that's got to get done. Roll up your sleeves. You can have fun doing it, but we still got to do it. Number 3, do what you said you were going to do. You can call it accountability. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But I like to call it do what you said you're going to do. My job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to get you to commit to something and then hold you accountable to that, right? That's how we do things with our team. And so when we talk about, hey, this is our next initiative, like we're getting ready to launch Build Pro, our online community here soon, right? Yesterday, I made a huge decision and we're switching platforms where we're hosting this community. Now, for most people, that would be like, man, we just spent the last 2 months putting all this stuff together. Why are we switching? Well, when I sit down with my team and we talk about the reasons behind switching, they understand it. Okay. But now at that point, they have a decision to make. I'm going to opt into this, right? Or I'm going to opt out of it. And they have every right to opt out. They won't be around very much longer, but they have every right to opt out and they have every right to opt in. So every big decision that we make as a company, we give people the opportunity to opt in, right? Again, accountability. It's really hard to hold somebody accountable if they don't opt in to the thing you want to hold them accountable to. And the last one is go the extra mile. Whether it's opening the door for an old lady, whether it's you got to stay a little bit late, whether it's helping a coworker with something, whatever it is, go the extra mile. Those are our core values. Now, because we have those core values, what does that allow us to do? It allows us to attract people who have the same core values. It also allows us to get rid of people who don't have the same core values, right? If you're not a hard worker, this is not the place for you. If you don't like to serve and help other people and go the extra mile, not the place for you. If you don't like to be held accountable, not the place for you, right? That's how easy it is. There was a saying I heard many years ago, and I love to use it. You can train a monkey to turn a wrench, right? Turn a wrench. You can train a chimpanzee to swing a hammer, but you can't teach core values. Either it's something you have or it's something you don't. So quit trying to train somebody to be nice if that's one of your core values. Quit trying to train somebody to have integrity if that's one of your core values, right? If you're constantly having issues on a job site and when you show up and ask who did it and there's nothing but finger pointing, what does that tell you? That tells you that right now is your culture. You have a culture of irresponsibility. You have a culture of finger pointing. Congratulations. What are you going to do about it? If that's what you want, well, you got it. If it's not what you want, you have a decision to make. And that decision is, I got to get rid of the people who don't have these core values and I got to bring in people that do. Okay. There's example number 1. Number 2, A mentor of mine, Eddie Wilson's his name. In 1 year, I think it was in 2021, he sold 78 companies. Yeah, serial entrepreneur. Now, most of them were in the service industry, right? But 78 companies as an investor, right? In 1 year, 78 companies. And one of the questions that he always got asked was, how do you do it? How do you run 78 companies? And he goes, exactly the same. Interesting, right? Didn't matter the product, didn't matter the service, didn't matter the location. He ran them all the same. Now, how important was culture or core values to Eddie? Let me tell you. During his interview process, now he would set up his hiring managers with this process because obviously he's not going to interview people for 78 companies. But during the hiring process, one of the questions that gets asked is a very simple question. You go to McDonald's, you buy a Big Mac meal, right? You give them cash, they give you back your change, but they give you back 5 cents too much. What do you do with the 5 cents? Do you just give it back to them because it belongs to them? Do you keep it because you've already moved on and it's 5 cents? Or do you put it in the Ronald McDonald box because you don't need it and they don't need it either? Which one of those three? If you answered anything other than give it back to them, the interview was over. If you said, oh, Ronald McDonald, because those poor kids in Africa, they need stuff, right? Thank you for coming, Mr. Jones, but the interview's over. If you're like, hey, it's 5 cents, like nobody cares, thank you, the interview's over. If you said, well, I give it back to them because it belongs to them, the interview continues. That's how important integrity is to Eddie. And that's how he ran 78 companies. So if I was to ask you right now, what does your culture look like? What would you say? Would you say, I don't have a culture? Which, by the way, if you want to drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear it. But what would you say about your culture? I don't have a culture? Would you say that my culture is incomplete? Would you say it's inconsistent? Would you say I have exactly the culture that I want? What would you say about your culture? It's going to speak volumes about you, right? Now, I mentioned that culture is the first step, okay? What do we do after we have our culture locked in? Well, now we're looking for the right people. I want you to think about professional sports. What happens during the middle of the year? What happens during the off season? People get recruited, right? They get recruited or they get traded, right? Or they're a free agent or any of a number of things, right? Why does this exist in sports? It exists because sports teams are always looking for the best players. Period. They just had a big blockbuster trade. If you're a baseball fan, I can't remember the guy's name. He got traded from the Red Sox to the Giants, right? Big deal, right? Kevin Durant just got traded from the Suns to the Houston Rockets. Big deal, right? There's big trades that happen. There's free agency signings that happen. There's all these things that happen for a particular reason. And the reason is these business owners, professional sports team owners, are looking for the best people for their team. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because if you're going to be cheap and you're going to keep expecting the guy who can't even spell his name properly to be your next GM, you're screwed. You're literally screwed. Okay. Now, are there less good people out there? Yes, I will 100% agree with that. Less good people. But I will also tell you that there's still a lot of good people. Your job as the business owner is to find them. Now, where do we find them? Well, I just mentioned the sports example. Sometimes the best people are employed by other companies. Does that mean you can't approach them? No, it doesn't. Right? It's not illegal, unethical, or immoral. You got to treat them like somebody that you want on your team. Cool. Well, what are they getting right now on their team that's going to make them want to switch to your team? I don't know. That's something you got to figure out. Maybe it's compensation. Maybe it's other perks or incentives. Maybe it's the freedom to actually be in a position of leadership. Who knows? Right? But that's your job. So how do we build a high-performing team that we don't have to babysit? Number one, right? owning the fact that you need to have your culture set up and you need to hire and fire based off your culture. Number 2 is the willingness to go look for and find the high performance players. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've come across people just in day to day where I'm like, man, I really wish I could hire that guy. I don't have a position for him, right? Doesn't fit in the team, but his tenacity, his aggressiveness, his willingness to go above and beyond. I'm like, man, that guy would make a great employee, right? Go find them. They're out there. Now, third piece, and this is the one that most people struggle with the most, is right person, right seat. Okay. That's an easy way to say, just because somebody has the right core values, just because you like them a lot, doesn't mean that they're the right fit for whatever position you have them in. Period. Okay. Too many times as business owners, what do? We take somebody, right, that we really like, and we try and squeeze them into a position instead of the other way around. It's not person first, then position. It's position, then person. Daniel's got a comment here. He says, we have exactly the culture we deserve, hot and cold. Some days are great. Some days we wonder why we do what we do. Man, that's a pretty powerful statement there, Daniel. I appreciate you sharing that. And it's true. And you as the business owner, guess what? You're the one in charge. So you're the one that determines if that culture is hot, cold, or lukewarm. Okay, so back to right person, right seat. You guys have to get clear, whatever the next position is for you that you're hiring, an office manager, a laborer, project manager, a general manager, a finance person, whatever position it is that you're hiring for, you have to get clear before you hire for that position that you have clear roles and clear responsibilities written out. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen in that position? Whatever needs to happen or whatever's going to happen, which means you're going to end up doing more than you need to inside of that position that you hired that person for. No clear role, no clear responsibilities. Okay. The second thing is find the person that's passionate about that position. Not the guy who's been with you for 18 years and you really like him and you don't want to get rid of him because you found a better person for the position he's in right now. No. Person who's passionate for that position. Because if they're passionate for that position, are they going to make mistakes? Yeah, probably, but they're passionate about it. So they're going to correct it. And they're constantly going to strive and drive to be better. Now, to kind of wrap this up, if you're looking to build a high performance team, a team that you don't have to babysit, okay? Number 1 is what? It's culture. Build your culture. Your team is a reflection of you and your culture. Number 2, okay? Make sure that you have the right people on your team. Okay. How do we find the right people? Well, I gave you a couple of cheat codes there, right? The right people are out there, but make sure that you're attracting those right people. And the third thing is the right seats. Make sure we're putting them in the right seats, a place that they really have passion about, and that long-term, they're going to elevate that position. I would much rather, right? I would much rather have somebody in finance who loves finance that will do a way better job than I could ever do in finance so that I can go focus on what I really like to do. I would much rather have somebody who can manage projects way better than I could ever manage projects because I can go do something else, right? So think about that. Think about that as you're building your team, okay? Now, if you guys are not using Contractor Plus to manage your jobs and manage your team, shame on you. You should be. It's got that capability for you. And we got version 2 coming out here pretty soon. That's going to add some additional capabilities to you, as well as something. Can we talk about Estimatic? Justin, are we allowed to talk about Estimatic?
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's talk about Estimatic. How many of you struggle putting estimates together? Bidding projects, being accurate on your numbers? Probably quite a few of you. I know because I see this every day. When we request bids for different projects that we have going on, some of them come in on the back of a napkin and some of them are real professional. Some of the numbers are dead on and some of the numbers I'm just wondering where they came from, right? People struggle with estimating. So tell me, Justin, or tell, I guess, the audience a little bit more about Estimatic.
Sure. So We studied the data. We noticed there was a direct correlation between the level of detail and itemization and the end result of the estimate. Does it get approved or not? And our hypothesis was right. When we looked at the data, about 500,000 estimates, we saw the direct correlation was there. The more detailed, and itemized an estimate is, the better it's packaged and presented in a way that the client's going to comprehend, is the more likely you are to win the job, regardless of the estimate total. So in fact, sometimes higher priced estimates convert even better with this level of detail. But the problem most contractors, especially like the startups, you're just starting, you got a couple guys that are working for you. The biggest problem you have is there's a couple, but a ton, but a really big problem with the estimation is you don't have the time. You're out in the field working all day, every day. You really don't have the time to spend 3, 4, 5 hours putting together a really nice client proposal. So, the issue, I think, there is, if you do invest the time that you don't have into creating the estimates, you're going, with that level of detail, you're going to win more bids, obviously, at a higher ticket, which is great all the way around. But if you don't have the time to invest in it, you don't have the time. So what most contractors end up doing is they default to keeping their bids extremely simple and, 1 or 2 line items, labor, materials, whatever, or sometimes just one line item with the full scope and the description of that line item. And it works in many instances, but you lose attribution on a per task basis. Like for job and project management with Contractor Plus V2, you'll be able to take those line items from the estimate and just import it as a job template with your Gantt chart populated and everything. Phases, tasks, subtasks, you name it. Proper project management for construction. But with estimates, going back to estimates, we just realized there needs to be a better way. And a lot of contractors are starting to use Chat GPT as an interface, just opening up GPT and typing in what they need an estimate for. And they're starting to, get familiar with using AI to help them in the bidding process. But we wanted, that experience is not frictionless. It's not super convenient because you still have to copy and paste and go back and forth and build things in a system like Contractor Plus in order to package it in a way that you can send it to your client, make it available in the client portal. They can get it in the email, SMS, approve it, sign the contract, whatever. So it's really important that those, the estimation or the quoting process is built, and it's integral. It's an integral part of how you create your estimates. You shouldn't have to go to GPT and go back and forth for an hour to put it together. That's really not that much more convenient. So what we did was we mapped out the entire workflow and created our own AI agent for estimation. It can read blueprints, AutoCAD files, photos of a job site. You can tell it, you literally just talk to it like you would a human. You tell it what you need to create an estimate for, give it measurements, material preferences. And it will, if you have your cost book set up in your account, your line item templates, your group templates, whatever, it will always check your own template library before synthesizing anything. It's always going to try to reference your own cost book templates before it makes it up or tries to guess. But then even if you don't have the templates and pricing, it doesn't just make it up. It also accesses, we built our own labor rate index, which every time an estimate is approved inside of Contractor Plus, we analyze it with AI and we index it. So now we have a labor rate index. It's a radius search around a zip code. It's literally localized down to the zip code of labor rates dating back to 2020. And we, instead of just relying on Contractor Plus data for this index, we also tie into BLS.gov. So we take the BLS.gov and the Contractor Plus, add them together, divide by 2, and that is the average aggregate labor rate that you can now apply per hour, per square foot, per linear foot. You get it. So now the AI isn't just making prices up. It's not pulling it out of thin air. It's actually using a real number based on approved estimates in your area for your specific service categories. And then in addition to the labor rate index, we tie into all the material suppliers. So Lowe's, Menards, soon ABC Supply. We've got that relationship going now for the roofers out there. Ace Hardware, Home Depot, you name it. So with localized material pricing. So it's going to literally build a fully itemized, detailed estimate with real labor prices, real markup rates. We're also indexing the markup. So we're recommending the base cost plus markup that you should be using for these various tasks, adding the materials to it, and it can even recommend upsells. So like you can create a group of potential add-ons that are common. Like for example, if you're installing a hot water heater, good upsell would be going tankless. And you can add another 30% margin just by getting them to check that box. So then you can see, the low to high range of what the job would be with all the upsells added. And of course, it can also recommend good, better, best options. So if there's something appropriate, for countertops, it could be granite, quartz, whatever. You get the point. It's the most advanced. I mean, we're running extensive testing right now. The first week of July, we have 5 customers / investors that we're giving access in our staging server just to start collecting feedback from them as well. Right now, V2 is slated to go live to our beta group. We have a couple hundred people we're going to give access on August 17th if all goes as planned. Don't hold me to it, but we're in the final stretch. Things are looking really good. And AI estimation is coming to Contractor Plus very quickly. And it is just a complete game changer. We're actually doing a AI workshop. Garrett's hosting it later this week.
Yep.
I'll let him share more information about that. I'm going to be one of the panelists. I'm there to do a Q&A in that workshop, and we will go over how Estimatic works there as well.
Yes. And I want you guys to know I've personally seen Estimatic in action, and it is game changing. And I can't even tell you how many ways. This was a very funny comment by Zach. Quit flirting with me. Turn it on, along with V2, my friend.
It's coming.
It's coming. I know it's coming. Trust me, I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, can we test this thing out already? So it's super cool. But listen, a couple things. Number one, if you're curious of how AI can help you be a little more efficient, be a little, or work a little faster in your jobs and whatnot, we are hosting an AI for Contractors workshop. Check your email. You should have a link in there for Contractor Plus members. We're offering half off, so 50% off for you to join us. It's an online workshop, so it'll be a couple hours of nothing but talking about how AI can help you in your business. And then if you want to join our Build Pro community, our Build Pro community will be going live here in a couple weeks, which we're really excited about. It is a education and training community just for trade business owners. So we'd love to have you inside of there and join us. If you'd like some more information, let us know. We can for sure send that over to you. But listen, end of the day, we talk to you guys about a lot of things every single week. Team, mindset, sales, marketing, all that good stuff. At the end of the day, though, nothing matters if you don't do anything with it. I would love for you to be here every week. Yes. But I would more love for you to take that information or take something and go and deploy it into your business. We want your business to grow. That's why Justin's making all of these improvements and changes to Contractor Plus, because he wants to give you the opportunity to have Contractor Plus grow with you.
Let me butt in real fast. This question right here. It's a good question. I have a Handoff account. Interesting, long story. The guys over at Handoff, they're very talented individuals. Their CEO went to Harvard. Doug's actually here in Columbus. Their leading engineers are really great. They're actually the guys behind OneBuild. We integrated with OneBuild, paying like $15K a year for their cost book data. And after we surveyed our users, we were coming up for the 3rd year for renewal, and we realized that, hey, we only have like 50 people that are actually using this. And the people that are using it, like the power users, they're changing pricing and stuff around after they add it. So there's something wrong. So we wanted to understand that. When we surveyed our users, we learned that people didn't really like the data. So nothing on them personally. It's just it didn't really fit for, it didn't make sense to renew. So interesting enough, but I shared a video that I made about the Contractor Plus AI assistant, the AI estimation, about 1.5 years ago with the CEO of OneBuild. And 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever, I don't know. They had an AI estimate tool out, so they beat us to market on it. That said, using it, I haven't generated a realistic or accurate estimate with it yet. I've talked to other real users many issues. What it boils down to with AI is, especially right now, we're limited on compute. So that's why they're rushing to build semiconductor and factories. There's a big one going up right here in New Albany, the new Intel factory, the new Stargate project. We literally are limited by power and compute, and we need more investment in compute resources to be able to give AI access to what it needs to be able to reason at this level. Right now, literally, AI is only being restricted by the compute that it has access to. Now, we do have the ability to pay for more compute to make our AI models smarter. We can use a much higher, like a 70 billion parameter model or whatever. But hosting that, in a data center and then paying for the access to that is very, very expensive. So most people are going to prioritize, like the question is this, like you can go sign up for a handoff and you'll probably have to make a lot of changes. They're using I'm guessing a small, I don't know the specifics, but a smaller, maybe like a 10 billion parameter model. It's fine tuned for their instance, but it doesn't have access to, like the real industry labor rates that's based on a real index. I think we're the first person to create that, or the real material price index outside of Lowe's. They only have the Lowe's integration. So it's lacking in many ways as well. I haven't personally been able to create an estimate that was like super accurate. It's typically coming in 2x, 3x higher than what it probably should. Sometimes I think the best way to answer this question would be you be the decider of this. Obviously go use it and see if it works for you. For me personally, it would not, but of course I am the creator of Contractor Plus, so I am biased. I think I'm being pretty objective about this. So when the beta drops, use it. We're giving all Contractor Plus users are going to get tons of credits to be able to use it for free. You use it. You see how it works in your workflow and in your business, and you be the decider of that. But I think the answer is yes.
That was the long version of saying, hold your horses, it's coming. So it'll be a good thing. Again, appreciate all you guys and gals being with us here today. We love that you guys are using Contractor Plus. We love that you're here every Monday to get your mind right. But take this information and let's run with it. Here's a perfect example. I love Contractor Plus. It set me apart from the average unmotivated service pros. Let's go. All day, every day. All right. You guys know what time it is, though. It's time for you guys to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.